So you are going to be making a fabric painted bag today. To begin, you are going to need masking tape, and you are going to tape a square into which we are going to paint. The next step is to create organic shapes on your bag. So for example, circles, shapes that look like stones overlapping each other, and then weird rectangles as well. So that is what you are going to be doing. You can see they do overlap, and I want you to plan what your shapes are going to look like. If you want to go for semicircles or rounded squares or rectangles, you can also add that into your artwork. So like I said earlier, you are going to have a taped masking tape square into which we are going to be working. Using a light colored chalk, you can start planning your overlapping organic shapes. So it could be anything, weird shapes, they can be squiggly, but I do want them to overlap. Think about circles. Remember, semicircles overlapping look really good. And once you have your plan, think about which are going to be in the foreground and which are going to be behind each other. So have that mapped out in your mind as well. After you have your chalk outline, you are then going to be adding paint into your shapes. Now, something to remember is wanting to work within color families, same color families. So if you are going to go for muted tones of terracotta or browns, stick with those colors. Think about how they're going to work together. And again, think about what's going to be foreground, middle ground, background, which shapes are going to overlap each other. Have that worked out in your mind, then actually overlapping paint onto each other, that will not look good. So have it in your mind what colors you're going to use, and make sure you stick with those colors. You will need to mix them, so don't forget that. And if you are going for muted tones, you will need to add white into those colors. Don't mix all of them, mix one at a time. Decide which shapes are going to be background, and like I'm doing now, coloring in, make sure that you have planned which shapes are going to be moved forward or moved back. So very quickly, you can see this kidney shape over here. I went more in the foreground, so I've outlined it and colored it in here. Nice layers. You will not need to outline your shapes now, so don't worry about permanent marker now, but I would say to try and just figure out which shapes are foreground, which are coming to the front, and which are going to be behind each other. There we go. I've got a very random loose shaped organic shapes over here. This is the only stage I want you to get up to. If you don't finish this, it's not the end of the world. But next week you are going to be overlapping on top of your shapes with some foliage, leaves, plants. So I do want you to think about that you are going, after this is dried next week, you are going to be working on your plants, like I'm roughly sketching out here. So that's another thing. You can start planning what your foliage leaves are going to look like, and if you're going to have one, if you're going to have two, and how they're going to look. There we go. So that's what you'll be doing today. Thanks, bye.